Hello and welcome to another edition of Overland Fam. In today's video, we have back with us the indomitable, the beautiful Iris Strong. Whatever, I don't quite know what to call her. My partner, she's back with us again, and she's back with us to answer a few more questions about overlanding, about her experience with the outdoors, about Africa, and her experience with Africans too. So this time I've only made 5 questions, but I have a feeling it's going to carry on for much longer because a lot of them are open. So let's give it a go. Let's ask her these questions. You ready? I'm taking that as a yes. So we're going to go into this. Question number 1. Talk to me about your experience. And she doesn't know about this question, by the way, but I know her. So anyway, talk to me about your experience with Jeep. I know you went away at one point with your mother when you was younger, and you have spoken to me a number of times about the experience that you had when you was with her. Rented a Jeep Wrangler. Which is a small red Jeep, did you?
No, it was green.
Oh, it was green.
I don't think it was in Spain. I'm really not sure where that was. My experience? What exactly do you mean?
You have spoken about how cool it was. You said how cool it was. But I want you to sort of think deeper as to why you think that this is one of the experiences that have stayed with you, even though you was quite young when it happened.
I was very young. Yeah, I was very young. Well, I don't quite remember, but there is this one picture I have where my mom is sitting on the car. And just, I don't know, it gives me feelings of, this is something that you would love to hear now, but feelings of freedom, feelings of it's a tall open car. You can hop on it whenever you want, you can hop off it whenever you feel like it. It just connects, I don't know, a safari trip in my head when I see that car.
It's a strange one because I watch a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of people talk a lot about the Jeeps, and I'm like, I've never been a fan of them, if I need to be honest with you, because they're not exactly refined inside. But as I think more and more about, and as I perhaps mature a bit more now, I think more about being outdoors and adventure and everything else. And for some reason, that brand, along with brand perhaps just Land Rover, because of what they have done predominantly on the African continent, these two brands sort of really evoke something in people that makes them have experiences that stay with them for a lifetime.
I think also another thing that I just, while listening to you, that I remember, or the feeling that I have is when I see that car, because that car is really probably not that good. I don't know. I'm not very good with cars. But it gives you like a retro touch, you know, it's like a vintage type of thing. It takes you back to the good old days, you know, like the 90s or the 80s, where, you know, people used to wear sneakers with socks. I mean, they do wear it now too, but you know, like even women used to wear those wide shorts that
Bermuda shorts.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the style of my mom, you know, and just connecting that, and how she was posing and standing in front of the car with her high jeans and the belt and the sneakers and the flash dance type of curly hair, you know, it's just
hardcore 90s.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me. I think it's also because I'm very, I don't know, sometimes I do live in the past. Within my thoughts, I'm in the past, and I wish that I would have been a young girl in the 90s. Even though I don't know if the 90s were that amazing or that good, or even the 80s, late 80s, but you know, I
can almost be certain that you would have lived a much different life, because your life, even though you don't feel like it has been dominated by the internet, you know. There was no internet back in the 1990s, so you would have been a different purpose. You would have been a different person. You would have been a different person, demonstrably, definitely.
And I would have had a different purpose.
Purpose, yeah, you would have had a different purpose. And I don't know. I have been ignoring. I actually made a video, guys. If you've seen it, I'm gonna put a link in the description. I made a video about how I sort of did not even think about this brand. I gave my reasons as to why I didn't think about contacting them, speaking to them. It's Jeep, it's American, and I think also the types of people that buy them over here are a particular type of people. It used to be a quirky thing to buy a vehicle like that, but now it's a serious brand. It's owned by what I believe is a European massive conglomerate called Stellantis that own everything. So I think they own Chrysler, which means they own Jeep, and GMC, they own everything. They've been brought into Europe a lot more, and I have to think about the brand. That's all. And I wanted to ask you about that. This is not what this
That's okay.
interview is about, but it was nice to hear about your experience with the vehicle. We need to see if we can get a photo that you would.
Oh yeah.
So, next question. What is your favorite African country and why?
Oh, you're asking me something that I cannot answer because I've never been.
You don't have to go. It's like, what is your favorite Caribbean country?
You want me to say Jamaica?
Even though you've never been to Jamaica, you can still make one, let's say, from what you have experienced, because you've had experience with African people, you have a lot of African friends, from what you have experienced from the people, if you had to choose one African country, which one would it be?
Oh, it's so hard. I mean, I think the number one where I would travel to before going anywhere else would be Ghana.
Why?
Because most of my friends are from Ghana, and because they say if you want to go to a country that's, I don't know, that's mostly developed or that's very developed, then go to Ghana as like before you dive into other countries, like go there first. The climate, get to know the people, because you have both sides in Ghana, the very developed and the not so developed parts as well. But before you travel Africa, just go to Ghana. So I think that would be the first stop. But when it comes to, I think, nature, Namibia, probably.
Wow.
Kenya.
Wow.
I mean, just when I think about the nature, then.
Yeah, I mean, Namibia is one of those countries. I told you that I have 6 other siblings. I grew up in a small house with 6 other siblings, and it was, I never had my own space. So I knew once I got older that I'd wanted space. That was the premium, and I was willing to pay whatever needed to be paid in order to get that. In Namibia, a country of 2.5 million people, that's around the population of this city, right?
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, so the population of Vienna in a country twice the size of Germany, it's incredible. There's tons of space out there. You can go places, park up, and no one will see where you are for weeks,
So here's the interesting thing about him that I also tell my friends. Because sometimes my friends ask me, oh, do you have friends? And I'm like, well, my friends are his friends. He has his cool buddies, but he's not really, you guys don't live in the same city, so you rarely see each other. And I say, well, the funny thing about you is that you kind of don't need people. You don't need friends. You would be perfectly happy in a small, or in a big, small, it doesn't matter, in a house on a mountain, no houses next to you. You open up the door and it's just silence. Whereas to me, it's such an extreme that I would lose it.
You see that meme that you have with the little cabin on the island, just one cabin on the island. It's been flying around. I would be perfectly happy living on that island, no problem. And it's not because I have a problem with the human. Yeah, perhaps I do actually have a problem with the human race. I just want to get away from everybody, and if I can do that, because I'm perfectly happy being by myself. Of course, you know, there are ups and downs to being by yourself, you know, but
eventually you will want to meet people, be around people.
if I've got a big family, then it's not a priority. I got my kids, especially if I've got 4 kids. How much time am I going to have friends as well, to go out, drink, and, you know, when I've got 4 kids that I really need to pay.
Yeah, but that social life is also important. I think it's important for you to go. Imagine if you had a group of male friends, right, that you meet once a week for a 2-hour basketball session. You guys meet up, you guys chit chat, trash talk, whatever. It doesn't matter about politics, about the latest news, whatever. And then you just power yourself out and have a good 2-hour basketball session. And then each one of you just goes home. Either you go for a drink, a fresh up, or whatever, but then all of you go home to their family. I mean, I think that's something that women and men need.
Yona, she did it again. I've got to change the dog food because it's not right. I can see what you're trying to say, but you got to remember that I've already had that. I've already had the week where I go out with my friends and chill out with them. I've had that for years and years and years. Right, years of it, decades, you could even say, of going out and chilling with my mates for a few hours and then coming back. When you get to a certain age, you know you don't have a lot of time left on this planet, and then you start to pour more of your energy, your resources, your time into those people that matter. And those people that matter are your family, you know, especially your children and your wife. That, for me, that's the most important thing. So anything else, you know, making sure that they can have as much time with me as possible, so I'm not having to work 10, 11 hours a day just to make sure we could pay for the rent on a place. Making sure that, you know, we can stay together and be together for as long as possible. Like what Jordan Peterson said, you know, the children are your children for the first 4 years. After that, they do their own thing. Forget it. You're not going to have that much influence in them. You're not going to have that much time to instill certain values and morals inside them afterwards. You have to teach them in the first 4 years. After that, it's over.
Yeah.
So, you know, what am I going to do now? Am I going to spend a few hours with my friends every single week? Because if I spend 3 hours a week with them every week, out of a year, that's a lot of hours. That's, how much is that? That's 3 hours a week.
That's a week, but you get the point.
But I get the point. I get the point. But when you get to a certain age, you start prioritizing things. Like, I've got friends. I've got a friend now that I haven't spoken to in a month. I could call him up now and, oh, not even a month, sorry, in a year I haven't spoken to him. Not even a word. But he's still my friend because we just know we're each other's friend. We don't need to call each other. We don't need to be on each other's backs. I think he's living in the States now, and, you know, he is... I've known him since he was 13, so I've known him for over 30 years, and this is how it's always been. He went to the war in the Balkans as well when he was young, when he was in the army. I went away for a few years, came back. It was like we didn't even miss each other. It was just like, oh yeah, boom, and started doing our thing again. So I know what kind of friends I've got now, and they're older as well. They just don't live that life where they need social, you know, what do you call it? Validation.
It's not validation.
So what happens when you if you don't have friends and they're
It's not
gone?
validation. I mean,
What is it?
I have the need to step away. You know that. I have the need to have me time where it's just me, but I also have the need to be with my friends and not see your face.
Yeah, but I wouldn't base my life on my friends. That's something that I'm not trying to put you down
I think you're
here.
going in a way.
Okay, I don't want to bring you down. I just want to, yeah, but you have said that. You've said, you have said, I don't want to leave the center. I want to live near my friends. It's like, I'm like, your friends don't have kids. Most of your friends don't have kids. Most of your friends are still, I think you're in that set of trying to change from your friends who don't have to work. They don't have to do anything. They are happy being who they are, and they are still in that part of life where they're still trying to find themselves in their early 30s. But you've got a second child on the way. You know, you have me. We are committed. We have something that we need to build, right? And we can't build it inside the city centre, and give our children the quality of life that we want to give them, and still be able to grow in the future whilst doing that. So that I can envision us living in a larger house. It doesn't have to be in the middle of nowhere. It can be in the suburbs.
I think a community is important. A community is important to me. A community is important for the kids. Maybe not for you, but that is one thing that you will have to sacrifice. So let's move to the next.
Can I just say one thing? I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Community can be beneficial only when that community is going to be beneficial to our children too.
Yeah.
So I think at some point you need to say, okay, I know what I want, I know what I would like, but my kids need this, and you need to put the kids first.
Of course.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next one. Your favorite, this one's a little bit easier. What's your favorite African derived dish?
That's wait, let me just think so I don't say anything wrong. It is sweet plantains with stew, beef. I mean, you know how we eat. I mean, you do eat meat, but I kind of don't. We don't at home unless you buy your meat dishes outside, because I don't cook it. I don't also make fish. We're pretty much plant-based at home, but I do make exceptions. Stop it. I do make exceptions. Relax.
I don't think that is an African derived dish.
I do make exceptions when I visit my friends. And then, of course, I ask them, hey, I'm coming over. Can you make beef stew with sweet plantains? I mean, it's actually not my girlfriend's making it. It's actually their mom's making it. And I love it. It's all about, it's not even the meat. I can be without the meat. I don't need it inside, but it's a dish with meat. But it's all about that sauce. It's all about that. I could just eat the sauce with the rice and dip the plantains inside. The other thing that I do like is fufu. However, I had it just a couple of times.
It's what's going to bother me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I go to the African continent, eating with my hands, socially, like having other people eating with their hands, add to the same bowl. I don't know if I can do that. I know. I should be saying I should be embracing my African brothers and sisters and their culture and your cultural background, where you come from, where you people, your roots.
No one said that. You're just going to see when you get there. If you feel comfortable, you're going to do it. If you don't, you don't. I'm used to eating with my hands. I really enjoy eating.
You understand that there's more in it to that. You can do that. I enjoy eating with my hands, but eating like dishes with sauces, you don't like that. Give me a break. Like you could eat with you could eat a burger, of course, but it's
I mean,
like
the
you're
thing
dabbing your
is,
stuff in.
the thing is, like, for example, yeah, I mean, I get that. It's also tricky. It's also even here in the Western world when you make salads, right? Some people practice to give each person a salad bowl where they put the salad inside. Some people ask, "Hey, do you mind all of us eating from the same salad bowl with our individual forks?" And for me, it's like I really have to always analyze, okay, who is now with us visiting? How do I think that they eat at home? And then if I feel comfortable, then I would just offer for all of us to eat from the same salad bowl. Other than that, that's one thing, for example, that I don't really enjoy, all of us eating from the same salad bowl, unless it's our close family.
Really cool. I'm going to we're going to try and ask if she would come back again for another, takedown, another interview, if that's possible in the future. You'll be hearing from her soon. You'll be hearing from me soon. And yeah, so that's it from me for today. Thank you for watching. Peace.